Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is about top 10 most haunted places in Italy. But before we get into today's video, to those who are new to this channel, please feel free to click on the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you would be notified about the latest updates. So without any delay, let's get right into the video. It is definitely one of the most haunted places in the world, let alone in Italy, and it is totally off limits for the visitors. It is said that the haunted island has hosted over 160,000 plague-infected souls, meaning that 50% of the soil consists of human remains. You can actually see parts of human skeletons in the open air and feel weird presence near you at all times. It hides a long tradition of human suffering, being known as a city of barbarians, a battlement station, a place where soldiers were captured and burnt alive, a bubonic plague quarantine station and checkpoint, and as an asylum for the mentally ill. Its final status is the creepiest one, because it includes a sadistic doctor. The story says that the doctor used to perform horrible experiments on the patients, being convinced that lobotomies represented the perfect way of treatment. It is said that he used hammers, nails, drills and chisels while torturing the mentally ill. Other mysterious experiments were performed on patients in the hospital's bell tower, in which they stayed awake at night, scared to death by the ghosts they already heard and screaming of pain and despair. The doctor soon began to be harassed by spirits and went insane, throwing himself from the top of the bell tower, in which he used to commit his atrocities. This castle is haunted because of one of the most famous creepy stories in Italy, a mysterious murder of a little girl. On June 21, 1375, the 5-year-old daughter of Lord Ugo Linnecchio de Montebello, named Gendolina, was playing inside the house. She was always guarded by 2 men because she was an albino and couldn't get out in the sun or in the village. Her blue hair and eyes made everyone call her Azzarina. At one point, father came up and asked the guards where the little girl was, but she was nowhere to be found. Running after her cloth ball downstairs, Azzarina was forever lost in the dungeon. It is believed that her ghost is still in the castle and cries out on summer solstice every 5 years. The list of haunted houses of Italy continues with the legend of an inn, owned by a family with mental disorders, that used to kill its customers. They used to drop huge pieces of furniture on the victims and squash them, ignoring completely their horrible screams. Then they'd steal their money and throw them in a large hole turned into a mass grave. After World War II, the haunted house was re-inhabited by a family who declared that they used to hear at night huge objects and crockery falling on the floor and making loud noises. This is a haunted palace that stays in the top 3 haunted places in Italy for its strange ability to kill all the people who own it. It was built in 1487, and despite its beauty, the building seems to not fit the rest of the area architecturally. The castle was designed and owned by Giovanni Dario and stayed in his family until the 19th century, when the cursed nature of the building started making its way in more than 13 people's lives. The first 2 victims were actually 2 of Dario's children, a suicide and a murder. The history continues up until recently, its last death being of Raul Gardinis, who committed suicide in 1993, under suspicious circumstances. This is one of the most popular haunted places in Italy, because of its story. It is said that its owner, Donn'Anna, who also gives the name to the palace, was known for her sexual exploits. She used to make love with her lovers and then dump them in a trapdoor. There are 2 sides of the story. Some say that the trapdoor was directly pointing at the sea, while others say that underneath it were alive crocodiles brought directly from Africa. The palace is not only haunted by the dead men, but also by some other ghost. 200 years later, the place was inherited by Princess Anna Carafa, who used to compete with her niece Mercede de la Torre for a lover. One night they fought and Mercede disappeared forever. Her ghost is believed to be haunting the place, together with the rest of the souls, wandering the rooms and screaming. Local fishers were horrified by the atrocities among the years, and some say you can still hear the screams at the sea. This haunted place has one of the strangest stories you've ever heard. It is actually a disappeared small village that had the whole rock which was built on turned upside down on 29th of May in 1700. This destroyed everything and killed all the inhabitants. According to the rumors, the people who lived there used to practice some rituals similar to the witch sabbaths and orgies, called the angelic dance. It is believed that the ghosts of the dead ones are still dancing and wandering the place, because they can't find inner peace. This is a haunted place with a story that gives you shivers. Its legend says that one day a scared traveler stopped by a monastery and asked desperately for help. He was welcomed, fed and offered shelter, so he decided to pay back the monks by working in the monastery. Years later he decided to become a monk, but after he made his religious vows, he fell in love with a woman. Soon he started thinking she was a witch and began torturing her for confession. The woman died and he lost his mind, changing his appearance and starting to scare everyone around him. Soon all the monks and most of the villagers left the village. Because of some suspicious murders everyone knew he was behind. One day a lost homeless couple asked for help and the demonic monk welcomed them. The next day the man was sent in the village with a carriage having his skull broken, and the woman was nowhere to be found. The demonic monk was hanged at the order of the king, but his ghost is still wandering the monastery. This ancient Venetian palace is believed to be one of the most haunted places in Italy, because of its troubled history and mysterious legend. It says that three very rich merchants named Raiba, Afani and Sandy tried to sell a poor quality fabric to a Venetian lady for a large amount of money around 1100 AD. After the fraud was discovered, the woman gave them cursed money which turned them into stone statues. Bardi Castle is known for its legend and is supposed to be one of the most haunted places in Italy. It is said that in the 14th century, a young officer called Moroello fell in love with beautiful Celeste, a noble family daughter. Their love couldn't be public because he wasn't rich and noble enough for her, and the family would have never given permission for marriage. While the young officer was at the battle, Celeste kept waiting for him at the castle. Some weeks later, she saw a group of soldiers approaching the castle, carrying the enemy's flag in sign of victory. She didn't understand their gesture and thought her lover was killed, so she threw herself off the high castle wall and died. When Moroello found out what happened to his love, he decided to join her in death and jumped off one of the castle's towers. His ghost is believed to be still wandering the castle grounds trying to find Celeste, but the Italian Ghostbusters reported that they managed to take photos of a monk's ghost and not of the young unfortunate lover. It is an elegant palace facing a charming bay in the northern part of Cannaregio that served as a location to many religious sects which used to invoke spirits and demons there. It is also haunted by Luzzo, a famous 16th painter that killed himself because of his unfulfilled love for Cecilia, Giorgione's lover. It is said that his ghost is wandering the rooms of the palace, weeping for his impossible love. The story continues with a murder which happened in the 1950s. A young woman was cut into pieces, put in a trunk and thrown in the lagoon. Her body was discovered many years later and the palace was considered to be a haunted place never to be inhabited again. Even the fishermen avoid to sail its waters. Okay guys, That is all for today's video. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and click the notification bell to receive the latest update from my channel. See you soon in another interesting video. Bye.